gets longer.
And how do you know when it's the right condition? Like the way you're doing all the stuff? Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't know. Like you're doing the thing where you're like slapping it on the wood.
It's a lot of experience.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to explain what every movement I do.
Yeah.
It's a feel.
Yeah.
It's you gotta really work with the dough. It's not a forceful motion. It feels like I am.
Yeah.
Doing a lot to it.
Yeah.
It is not.
Okay.
It's a graceful motion. I feel females pull noodles way better than males.
Really?
I don't know why. This is just through my experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting.
It's not even a sexist thing. It's just through experience.
Yeah. Just an observation that you've...
It's an observation of grace and like being more gentle with the dough. You know what I mean? Which I still kind of learning as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And what's this over here? The like all this red stuff, is that...
So right here, the red stuff, let me just leave the noodle here. The red stuff right there itself is the chili. This is the tingly portion of it.
Okay.
It's called mala. It makes you, it kind of gives your mouth like that little tingly sensation to it. It's a little bit difficult to do because like the traditional way to do it is actually to get the dry spices,
right,
have it uncooked already, and there's like different mixtures inside within it too. You put it on top of the actual noodle, and then you get a high, like a hot oil, you know, like almost a sizzling oil.
Yeah.
Pour it over it, and you kind of fry it to order.
Right.
On top of the actual on the bowl.
Okay.
It's just a little bit difficult to do that within like this kind of environment.
Right.
But so I pre-fire a lot of it to
just
make it go. Yeah.
I see.
But when you do that, when you fry it in front of a person, you have something fried in front of you, you get more of the aromatic portion of the actual food.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's also a better portion of it too. Yeah.
That's good. Man, this is really cool. Like because I always like trying new food and stuff, and you know.
Like I said, I've cooked a lot. I've cooked in different restaurants. I've cooked in New York for about 5-6 years now, and I cooked in LA. I've worked at Melise. I helped close Hatfields a long time ago. It's a 1 Michelin star restaurant that's RIP, Quinn Hatfield. So yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, it's all that food. It's all amazing, man. I personally appreciate any food out there right now, even if it's like not high end or low end.
Right.
As long as it has like a history or some kind of like movement to it, I'm good.
Yeah. And how long have you been a chef, cook, or just anything related to food? Like how long have you been at it?
Obviously since I was born, but
since you were born, yeah, right. I guess
it's as a smart ass remark, but
yeah.
For me, I've been cooking for about 7 years, 8 years.
8 years, okay.
I don't know. Well, actually, all on.
And you kind of have the luxury of being so involved with food to the point where I imagine you're trying, like you said, you tried all different kinds of food that people can only dream of, right? Like
to an extent.
Yeah. That's really cool. And how long does it take to prep all this stuff, like the noodles?
It takes a couple hours for this thing. Ideally, it should be made a little bit prior to order.
Yeah.
I had to adjust recipe to make it work for this kind of a setup.
Right.
So it's not the ideal way to do it, but
whatever works.
I feel like in Xi'an, this is street food, and within street food, it's just you have to make what you have. You know?
Right.
And you have to do it. You know, if you really want to like deliver what you love,
yeah,
or what you care about, then just do it 100%.
Have you done anything with like Thai food?
I haven't done anything with Thai food. Did Japanese. That's about it. Korean.
Korean.
2 Michelin star Korean restaurant for a long time in New York.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yep. So hopefully once I get my water boiling,
yeah,
I can get some noodles cooking for you guys.
And what is it that you have here?
So right here, I have some mushrooms that I braised. Nothing too extravagant, but it's just a complement to the actual noodle and the broth. The actual star is a noodle and the broth of it.
Yeah.
Right now I'm just getting everything kind of set up for this.
Okay.
So let me just put that there. Here's a lamb that I make. I braise it for about say 3 hours because it's a thicker cut of meat is not as fatty.
Yeah.
So I do braise it for quite a long time. Actually put some liquid on it.
So prior to knowing about this event, how much, or not prior, so when you discovered that you were going to be working this event, how much work did you have to put in prior to like
to building this
yeah,
process?
Yeah.
Many hours, many a time. Everything's brand new from what you see from here.
Yeah.
I did everything for this event. The sign, to getting the canopy. Thank you so much. To getting the canopy, to getting this table, to making my own cutting board. I made my table too. I'm sorry, I know I made it, but I think it might not be that sturdy. No, but anyways, I made in order to make a table. The reason why I made the table is just so people won't it'll wobble too.
Yeah.
The reason why I made the table is so people can eat their noodles right away.
Right.
The hard part is that this noodle is not built to be traveled.
Right.
You know what I mean?
How much is it?
So I'm going to do the 12 for the lamb and 10 for the vegan right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you do everything yourself?
I do everything myself. Yeah. At the moment, I do everything myself. So.
But you wanted it that bad, right? Like you want to do.
Why not? Right.
Yeah. Right.
So it takes. I guess it takes that. If it takes, one person to do it, then it takes one person to do it. I feel like people that do street food, a lot of people do that by themselves,
Right.
Because the reason why they do it by themselves is because they wouldn't be selling food on the streets if they didn't have a full establishment.
Right.
Their idea is that they can't afford everything. They can't have everything on top of them. They have the top and the roof and the floor.
Yeah.
Or the walls. So they basically make with what they have. So in order for them to to actually move forward, I think that's you have to do it. It's just the drive is always there.
And I don't know, man. I when I try food, I try to get as close to home as possible for the people, for the food I'm trying. Like, I want to try whatever, Szechuan food or like I want to try what people are eating at
Somewhere
home
else.
Exactly. Because I don't want like watered down versions of whatever I'm eating. Like I want to get as close to authenticity as possible, and like I feel like this is an opportunity to try something really unique, in my opinion. Like
It definitely is. It definitely is. I personally think that that's the reason why I started this whole event. Is I miss it. It wasn't here.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that it needs to be. I feel like it needs to be here.
Yeah.
I feel ramen is a good staple, but I personally think this noodle is just as good as ramen. Might even be better.
Yeah.
Because the noodle is made freshly in front of you.
Right.
Yeah. That's I've seen places do pressed udon.
Yeah.
That is something I would run to.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that is just. I personally think it's better. I get a better bite out of the food.
Yeah.
And you get a better quality of food.
Yeah, and I could probably tell that just by you talking about like, this food that you have, that there's a lot of heart and passion in here because you put so much prep into it prior to even being here. Like you put in, I don't know, imagine years or months of just trying to
It took about, like I said, I've been cooking about for 8 and 9 years.
Yeah.
I think it took about that long.
Yeah.
Within all my experience, just to do something to get to one point, I personally think it takes more than just like, I'm gonna do it 1 day or 2 days or 3 days.
Yeah.
Or a few days. It's a lot of premeditated process, and and a lot of experience, a lot of like failures, a lot of accomplishments.
Yeah. And where do you plan to go from here? Like after this event, what do you plan to do?
I would like to do more pop-ups. I would like to do more pop-ups. Hopefully it won't be outdoors as much, but I really wouldn't mind that as much. I think that I would like to open an actual storefront to make it a lot easier for people to enjoy the food, and also for me to process the food for the people.
Yeah.
So.
And so after today, will you be sticking with this or adding things on as you progress like different menu items? Or
I would add on to the menu as well. Right
Okay.
now I have a vegan option and a lamb option.
Yeah.
And I want to add a beef option. There's certain things I know a lot of people are not into lamb, but
Yeah.
the thing is, I braised the lamb for such a long time. The gaminess is processed.
Yeah.
It is processed. It is actually married without the actual meat, and also the sauce too.
Yeah.
There's like heavy cumin involved. There's heavy spice involved too. So within balance, I feel like heavy spices balance that. If you think of Greek food, heavy spices balance or spices balance the gaminess of lamb.
Yeah, like I mean, I guess not particularly Greek food, but I've had like shawarma,
Shawarma, okay.
Yeah, like I love that meat, man. Like I
Yeah,
like
Mediterranean, man.
yeah, they get it. Like
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like the thing is they do one thing with one meat.
Yeah.
It's like, and they just do as much as they can to make sure that they tenderize it correctly,
Yeah.
they season it correctly, and they cook it to the proper temperature, as well as like obviously I'm sure they're doing little glazing here and there, but
yeah,
But that's the main thing that they needed to focus, and they bring it with that,
yeah,
It's like yakitori too. Yakitori, they try to bring that too as well. They bring it to even more of a delicate process too.
What's yakitori? Is it the stick?
It's a
what-
stick. It's a stick skewers.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like even more of an amazing process, because they think about the smoke. They think about the fire. So it's all a process of start to finish. So what else do what else do you think they will finish?
Yeah, and it's funny because like I've watched videos of people like doing stuff with like yakitori and like Japanese street food.
Yeah.
It's so cool to watch because
I know.
they put so much work into the fire. They like cut the eel up and it's just they put the teriyaki sauce on top, layers and layers of it, and like
it is all
yeah,
there.
yeah, and it's just really beautiful because you get to see the end product of it, but like the entire process is just beautiful.
Yeah.
So it's just really cool to see that kind of stuff, and
It's dope too.
yeah, and I'm kind of here just watching you do your thing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
This water boiling, it's definitely the hardest portion of the job at the moment right now.
Yeah,
Right now.
yeah.